Hello everyone, I'm Srishti. Friends call me Tux, and this visual also represents my group Lifelong Kindergarten. My advisor is Mitch Resnick, and my leaders are Philip Schmidt, who is the Director's Fellow at the Media Lab, and June An, who is an Assistant Professor at University of Maryland. Topic of my thesis is making serendipity stick, and for which I'll be exploring how we can help people translate short live online interactions into meaningful relationships. Now, before I dive into the details of my project, I would like to express my strong motivation behind exploring this topic. Most of my learning during undergraduate years happened by making connections and collaborating with people. And part of the reason I came to know about some of the lab projects was by being part of in person events in India. Here at the lab, I work closely with Philip on peer learning, and one of the projects we are working on with a group of people is the Unhangout platform that allows running large scale unconferences on the web. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with an unconference model, these are participant driven gatherings that happens without any pre-planning or agenda in physical spaces and fosters impromptu discussions in small groups. Unconference begins with a kickoff gathering where host welcomes everyone in the room and explains the overall agenda of the event. Participant then propose sessions and helps in contributing the schedule. They then choose a room of their choice, and there's a final wrap up where everyone gets to share what they learned with others. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Unhangout is an online implementation of the unconference model, and it consists of a virtual lobby which offers three ways of interacting. Participants can jointly watch embedded videos, use the chat window to talk with each other, and enter a breakout room of their choice. You can think of these groups as small satellites that circles around the lobby room, and they are flexible in a way that you can jump in and jump out from one room to another. Now, over the span of 1 year, we have had 8,384 users, 83 events have been created, and 16 major events hosted on the platform. Along with other researchers at the lab, I've been involved in running a variety of events on the platform, and some of the interesting ones are EdCamp Online for educators, virtual conversations with TED speakers, Media Lab virtual visits, Learning Creative Learning. I would like to share now one success story and some of the challenges associated with these events that I've observed. Now, this screenshot is of a thank you email I received from one student. Although we had not designed the platform to facilitate conversations to take place after the event, but from one of the events that I organized for undergraduate students in India, a facilitator and student got connected, and the student was offered an internship opportunity to work with a startup. So, after this successful story, we began to think more about how we can foster more opportunities like this through Unhangout events, where a pool of intellectual people from all over the world come to participate. But at the same time, there are challenges as well. In one of our event, Amos tweeted saying, "Heterogeneity drives creativity. Wish I knew the Twitter handle of Daniel who said that in our Unhangout." Now, Amos and Daniel met in one of the event by serendipity, and I was lucky that I knew Amos already and I was following him on Twitter. I tried to connect them before the event was actually over. But these tweets are a perfect example of how difficult it is to manually connect people right now. And I'm interested in designing features which will help make these connections easier to make. So for my thesis, I'm planning to extend Unhangout platform to explore how we can help people translate short live online interactions into meaningful relationships. And I will mimic some of the successful features of offline unconference into online Unhangouts. And I'm structuring my attempt to solve this using three small questions. One is who to connect with, second is how to connect with them, and third is how to stay connected after an event. My first question is who to connect with. Now, in a physical unconference, schedule building takes place before the event kicks off. Participants have the autonomy to pitch ideas for topics of discussion they are most interested in facilitating or hearing about. And this process of allowing participants to create sessions help them to find others with shared interests in two ways. One is that it gives them a medium to announce their personal areas of interest so that others can find them. And second is that it creates fast feedback on which topics are most likely to attract participants. And there are chances that they end up having conversations with people who they might enjoy connecting with. Now, this is true, but as of now, only the organizers can create sessions on the platform, and virtual equivalent of schedule building is really challenging. So for one of our events, we used a question tool as a medium to propose sessions, and the ones that attracted most interest were made as active sessions by the organizers. Now, the results of this event indicated that 55% of the respondents who participated said they either proposed or voted on a session, and 35% indicated that they wanted to follow up with an individual post and hangout event. And these results convey the usefulness of this feature and its integration with the platform. So to support my first research question, which is who to connect with, I am planning to design a feature that will allow participants to propose sessions in a real and conference style. The second question is how to connect with them. Now, this is a screenshot of an unhangout lobby, and avatars on the right keeps track of who is in the room. This is something which is already there. But in an online setting with more than 100 people, it's really hard to keep track of the conversations and remember who said what. And also, when you're put together in a room with most of the people who you don't know, it's really hard to initiate the conversation. So, to support my second research question and thinking of designing features for them, I'm considering to give people a better sense of their conversation network, eliminate the barriers of initiating the conversation, and also help them take the first step in establishing a connection. So one example of the feature I'm thinking of designing for this is keeping track of meaningful exchanges that are taking place between the participants, such that any participant you communicate with via adding them in the lobby will appear in your conversation network. And also allowing micro interactions that will help you to bookmark others who you might want to connect with later. So some of the features that I've planned for my second research question are enabling micro interactions, tracking meaningful exchanges, and showing personal conversation networks. How to stay connected after an event is the third one. Now, an unhangout event, which usually lasts for a couple of hours, it's easier to get overwhelmed with the experience and then just slide everything away once it's over. And also, in a physical conference, you get to socialize with people over dinner or drinks, and you exchange business cards at the end. But there as well, if you don't have enough of a trigger, it's hard to follow up with people. But in the context of unhangout, it's even more complex. So for my third research question, I am considering to design a follow-up feature that will encourage people to get in touch with the ones who they chatted with in the lobby or who they talked to in a breakout on their preferred method of contact. So some of the features I'm thinking to build are gathering preferred methods of contact from people before they arrive to the event, storing history of a user's interaction, which means keeping track of which breakout sessions they are participating in and who they are communicating with in the lobby, and then sending a follow-up email with contact information tailored to each participant. I'll be using a design-based research, which is very common in the learning sciences for my proposed work. And as part of this, I'll be focusing on 4 key stages, which is analyzing the problems, designing solutions for them, and constantly iterating over the solutions, for testing and refinement, and followed by a reflection stage where I'll be enhancing my solution implementation. And this is kind of the timeline of my project. I'll be designing and implementing features for different questions and then deploying on Hangout events. We have a couple of them already planned. One is the TED event, and we'll hopefully be doing another one with the EdChem Foundation. And then I will roll this out to a few thousand users that we currently have, and we'll study the impact of these features on people's behavior and their ability to form relationships online. Thank you.